There were a ton of comments or questions on my last video about what it looks like on your resume when you're making a lot of job moves. So let's talk about it. I am not recommending that you or anyone make kind of willy-nilly moves on your resume. What I am talking about are strategic moves. Like, these are moves that you've thought about, not just out here applying for jobs. So making lateral moves on your resume is not going to look great. If you are making a lateral move every 6 months because you are taking a pay increase, you're right, that's not going to look great on your resume. I'm talking about getting a promotion. If you notice in my original video, every time I changed jobs, it was a bigger role. It was an expanded responsibility. That is not the same, doesn't look the same on your resume as someone who's making a lateral move. So yes, if I see a resume where someone is making a lateral move every 6 months, every year, I start to question, like, why are they making so many lateral moves versus someone who's taking a promotion every 6 months, who's taking on more responsibility every 6 months. When I see those types of resumes, I assume that this is a higher performer. This is a person who is growing, expanding, learning their job very quickly and wants to move on. So there's that. You have to make strategic job moves. Don't just apply to anything. It's got to be a better role than what you're in right now. Not just financially, but the expansion of duties, the responsibilities. Even if it's like a larger company, that's a better thing. Like if it's a, the other thing is that, I lost my train of thought. I remember. The other thing is you have to know your industry. You have to know your industry and your location, right? This strategy isn't going to work for everybody. Depending on where you are in the country, what industry you work in, your mileage may vary on this strategy depending on those things. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. My experience is based in the San Francisco Bay Area. Nobody really blinks an eye at people who job hop. I think it's very common here, particularly in the tech space, which is where I currently work. This is also the startup capital of the world. So it is not uncommon that you see people join a startup and then the startup does an IPO or something happens with the startup and then they leave and they go on to someplace else. So I don't think that this strategy works for everything. For example, I used to have a lot of clients who were in the construction space, and construction I think is a little bit outdated and a little bit antiquated in how they view this. And you're right, if you're in construction, this might hurt you, but so you have to know your industry. So there's that. Also, somebody asked me if I list all of my positions on my resume, and I do, because again, every time I left my job, it was an expanded role, it was a promotion, and I want to show that on my resume. So yes, I list all of my positions on my resume. As a